All right, y'all, we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography business today and see, if these two Google searches, local search and city search, have BSS, yes or no. So we're back here in the GBC universe where we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. And more on this, pinned video, home video, somewhere around here. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our FSIC graph in white here. Highest intent people on the left. These are the peeps searching literally today for boudoir photo shoot in their city. We focus on those peeps here with our BSS videos about BSS because these are highest intent, easiest to convert, closest to the money people. Over on the right, our lowest intent people. We talk about those with our sister brand of Boudoir FB Ad Doctor, where we talk about BLCS. And currently over there, we only work with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand per month in boudoir Facebook ads. Now, BSS means boudoir search sameness. That means a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 on Google. 0 slots on page 1 on Google means obviously, they're on page 2 or deeper, somewhere deeper. And we care about this because we know approximately 80% of Google searches never ever even hit page 2. They're page 1 and done searches, that's it. Which means if we're on page 2, we're invisible to approximately 80% of the market. And 1 slot on page 1 of Google, that ain't good either because, there's 10 organic slots page 1 of Google. If 9 other boudoir photographers each have 1 slot, everyone's looking the same, everyone's got 1 slot. We're not saying that, we're basically invisible, and guess what? A boudoir photographer is, or a boudoir buyer, their behavior is going to be just clicking through everyone on page 1. Well, approximately 80% of the boudoir buyers, they're only going to be clicking through everyone on page 1. They'll never go to page 2. And they'll be comparing everyone on page 1. And as a result, they will, filling out everyone's contact form, getting price quotes, negotiating, pulling down the price, asking for more. It's kind of annoying to deal with, to run a business that way. And most of them won't even go with us. So it's like, man, what's even the point? Now, 0-1 slots on page 1 of Google is actually not normal. It is a symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. So market saturation, the number one thing there is, well, basically everyone knows this. This is more boudoir photographers entering the market over time. Just simply as people upgrade their gear, kind of like get a new iPhone, get a new camera. This just naturally happens. Then eventually they throw up their Google My Business profile saying they're a boudoir photographer. They've got their website ranking on page 1 on Google, are competing to, saying they shoot boudoir photography. They are also increasingly posting in the mom groups on Facebook that that they now offer boudoir photo shoots. And a big market saturation time with COVID, tons of people lost their jobs, so they earn money. Everyone's got a super powered smartphone with awesome camera. Tons of people became boudoir photographers in that time. Now, the false belief of page 1 equality. This is the new one that very few people know about. So what this is actually a lot of boudoir photographers have kind of assumed or accepted that every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots page 1 on Google. And it's kind of like, yeah, whether Google wants to give you that slot, yes or no. And maybe you're on, who knows, slot 7, page 1, slot 7. Then some market saturation happened. Now you're on page 2, slot 2. And a lot of boudoir photographers are like, oh, well, I hope those new peeps, delete their website and Google de-indexes them. So maybe Google will bring me back up onto page 1. But no, this is 100% incorrect. This is the wrong way to think about it, because what we have learned, and we have the data to show, is Google will actually give us as many page 1 slots on Google as we want, and we actually do put in the effort to acquire. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google in only 10 days with this new methodology we discovered. So that's how we know the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief. Now, boudoir photographer with BSS, boudoir search sameness, is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a DBP. Again, if we got 0 slots page 1 Google search, that means we're page 2 or deeper, we're invisible to approximately 80% of the marketplace. If we got 1 slot page 1 on Google, we're looking the same as the other 9 competitors that are on there for a total of 10 slots. We're still invisible, we're still disappearing, we're slowly dying. So multi scenarios, it's kind of the canary in the coal mine, kind of warning light, the red flag that's telling us our boudoir photography business itself is now on its way to disappearing. But thankfully, we now have a solution. We've discovered that BSS is actually treated with social search saturation, aka our S-cubed methodology. And we know this because we invented it. That's how we went from 0 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google, to 9 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google in only 10 days. We'll see that data here, I don't know, like 4 or 5 more pictures. Now, S-cubed methodology, the way it works, it's exactly in the name. We saturate social search with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords, so we show up them there for those. And this is kind of like, when we do this, it's kind of like the snow at the top of the Andes Mountains down in South America on the eastern side, the backside. Snow back there. What eventually happens is that snow melts, small streams, small rivers, and guess what? It all flows into the Amazon River. That Amazon River is Google page 1. But to get all that water there, first got to be snow at the top of the mountains. So saturating social search, that's our snow. That's where everything begins. That's the input we care about, our S-cubed methodology. Everything flows from successfully executing S-cubed methodology correctly. And the interesting thing about this is the only solution I've seen for boudoir photographers that actually enables them, that gives them a chance for their business to continue to grow, even in the face of market saturation, and even if they don't have a large, well-known brand, and to do all this give them this opportunity in a relatively quick time frame. The only other shot would obviously to have a large, well-known brand to compete against market saturation. But dude, that takes 5 to 10 years. We ain't got that time. We got AI taking people's jobs. We don't have time. We don't have 5 to 10 years to build a large, well-known brand. What's actually interesting is utilizing S-cubed methodology. My estimates is it will actually speed up the process of creating a large, well-known brand in an area by approximately 8x, because it'll be seen with such a much higher frequency across so many more platforms. That's my estimates. It's kind of like a secondary benefit of utilizing this technology. So now an example. All right, so right now we're going to Phoenix, and there are currently 1 million boudoir photographers in Phoenix. We are one of them. Since we don't have a large, well-known brand, then the only way we can, everyone's got their websites and their boudoir photographer competing page 1 Google search. So since nobody's got any of those since there's so many competitors, we realize, all right, we got to use S-cubed methodology to get out of this mess. Let's say we crank it up to the max. Let's say we're ranked for the first 300 slots across all of social search for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords. And let's say that flows out onto Google. And we're taking up the first 300 organic slots on Google. And we know it's 10 organic slots per page on Google. And so as a result, we're taking up literally the first 30 pages, and we are basically, for any boudoir buyer to find in any of our competitors, they got to scroll down to slot 301. And on Google, that's page 31. I mean, who's doing that? Basically no one. So when any boudoir buyer is actually searching for, any boudoir photo shoot in our city or any high intent boudoir buyer keyword in our city, we're basically the only ones showing up. And as a result, we, whose business is growing? Most likely ours. Whose business is dying, fading, disappearing? Most likely the other 999,999 boudoir photographers that buyers really can't even find them because we're saturating all the surfaces where they could be found. So this is kind of a ultra extreme example of what S-cubed methodology can enable for a boudoir photography business. Now, once you're with S-cubed methodology, we have page 1 visibility, P1V. Yeah, we get our initial benefit, more slots page 1 on Google. But our second initial benefit of every new slot we get page 1 on Google, we actually get, we're actually kicking our competing boudoir photographers in our city off that page, and we effectively make them invisible because now they're on page 2 or deeper, and we already know approximately 80% of Google searches are page 1 only searches. So we can basically choose to make our competitors disappear and put their business on the path of disappearing, depending on how much effort we want to put into acquiring all these slots. Now, page 1 visibility actually it's boudoir search visibility for us, BSV. So this is where the GPC universe has a recommended minimum of having minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search. That's because all the other boudoir photographers will basically have 1. slots, so we're going to be dominating them for buyers scrolling page 1. And on the ultra rare case, someone has 2 slots, we're going to be dominating them as well because we have 3. We also know the boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, VBP. So we got our full, basically our full got our full micro universe here. We got a disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness caused by the dual horns of market saturation and page 1 equality, the false belief page 1 equality. We can now solve it with S-cubed methodology. We achieve page 1 visibility. We become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. Just kind of our micro universe here. And now we're gonna look at my results. So the results that I got, purely using S-cubed methodology. So I want to dominate rank for this keyword, BLCS boudoir. I want to dominate page 1 Google search. And let's see the results I got with it. So organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. And slot 10, me. So the best thing about this is I'm from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search in only 10 days, purely utilizing S-cubed methodology. All right, so now we're here, the main event. You're gonna see that this boudoir photography business has BSS for their local search. Gonna see if they have it for their city search. All right, so here we go. Boudoir photographer, Roseville, California. So let's see what we got here. All right, we got one. Let's see. All right, we got 2. All right, so we got 2 out of 10. So we do not have BSS for the local search, but we did not hit the recommended GBC minimum of 3 out of 10. So now let's look at the full city search. Sacramento. So let's see here. Let's see, we got nope, 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 nope. Nope. All right, so it looks like we got 0 out of 10 here for Sac. All right, so we're missing a bunch of Sacramento peeps. All right, so final verdict, we got, well, we do not have BSS for Roseville, the local search, but we did not meet the GBC minimum, recommended minimum of 3 out of 10. And for the city search, yeah, we got BSS. We're at 0 out of 10 there. And we're actually, we also did not meet the recommended GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 organic page 1 Google slots. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer and you've done your local search or city search for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords, and you're seeing for any of those, local or city or any of the keywords, you got BSS, or you're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum, 3 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search, and you actually, you're looking at all the highest intent keywords, and you're seeing that the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief. You're seeing Google actually give us as many page 1 slots on Google search as we want. And you're seeing that S-cubed methodology is the only solution forward, the only solution to have enough links where there's enough flow through to Google to actually put us on page 1. And you understand the market saturation. Yeah, people get new gear, market becomes more saturated. And you're also seeing that you're looking ahead to AI. And while you like the initial benefits, S-cubed methodology, more links page 1 Google search, more, basically more kicking other boudoir photographers off page 1. Google search is actually your favorite. You're competing with boudoir photographers. But you're looking at AI taking people's jobs right now. You know it's going to get better. So it's simply going to take more and more people's jobs into the future. And as a result, you're actually going to, a new flood of boudoir photographers is going to be entering the marketplace. So you actually realize you not only need the links, dude, you actually need to fortify your position on page 1. Literally like fortifying the levees down in Nolens, Louisiana, because that city's below sea level. you gotta like have so many links on page one, so many links Google wants to rank for you on page one that there's not enough slots, so they relegate you to start filling up pages 2, 3, and 4 to basically guarantee no other competing boudoir photographer currently can essentially ever rank on page one, nor any any future competing boudoir photographer who comes into the marketplace because they took their job basically ever has a chance to rank on page one either. So you want to prevent both those scenarios. And you're seeing again, SQ methodology is the only solution that can give that many links to super fortify you. And you want to achieve page one visibility. You want to become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. And you do not, and you know you need these things in order to become, on your path to become the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you're liking the future benefits of SQ methodology because you understand it well. Basically building these invisible thematic keyword columns. I mean, back in cyberspace, these columns that are plugged in to the kind of this, this cloud of you, your business name, your brands, your social handles, your website, everything kind of about your business, plugging in these invisible thematic keyword columns, kind of building up this back-end AI keyword mindshare that's invisible. And every day we successfully execute SQ methodology and build this up, we're actually increasing the probability we're going to show up here at the top of AI overview for search in our city. And as a result, this is the highest, the highest probability, the most premium placement, the highest tier placement we got here, and cannot pay for it. It's all organic. And SQ methodology, highest probability of giving us this. And also, that same probability recommended here, increase in probability that we show up in all the AI search apps. So, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. We're increasing the probability we show up in all of these. And this is important because AI search getting bigger every single day. Every single day, every single day, every single day. And standard Google search decreasing every single day. And last time I did an AI search for boudoir photographer in a city, I used ChatGPT. It recommended me 3. I actually then went to do a manual search in that city with Google standard search and search on Facebook. And dude, I found like 60. It's like, man, we got to find any way to get, recommended these AI searches if there's only 3 slots available, because I mean, that's so many eyeballs for us. And again, SQ methodology is the only strategy that is given these invisible thematic keyword columns, kind of building it up in the back end. So you're liking these feature benefits. You're also liking the feature benefit of SQ methodology can help build a large, well-known brand approximately 8x faster than all the other standard methods out there. You also understand and like that my current plan is to only work with 1 boudoir photographer per city. And as a result, you're actually able to get all these benefits and kick your competitors off and prevent them from using these benefits at all. And you're basically able to kind of build up a kind of a moat, kind of a large gap with the back-end AI keyword mindshare that we're going to be doing to be recommended these AI apps higher and higher and higher probability out into the future. And building up a massive gap to where basically your competitors, the gap could be big enough where they could never catch you. So that's why you decided to be first mover advantage. And your city can hop on this first. As you understand the converse, if one of your boudoir photographers competitors actually signed up to use this first, then you'd be locked out of this. They'd be getting all these slots page 1 Google search, kicking you off page 1 Google search, and then it'd be relegated to page 2 or deeper. You would be building up that massive AI mindshare for them and their brand, and you'd be stuck in the dust. We're building up a massive gap, larger and larger every single day against you to be recommended AI search. And as a result, in order for you to compete, you would actually have to rederive SQ methodology on your own, which means you'd actually have to drive it first in the first place. And since you've never derived it before, you'd actually have no idea if you've derived it correctly, yes or no. But then you'd have to execute equal to us every single day. And even if you did all that, well, all you've done is you're maintaining the gap that me and your competitor already have ahead of you. So to close on that gap, you'd actually have to increase your effort to like 2 to 3x what we do every single day to close that gap. But you're not even confident you've derived the technology, the strategy correctly in the first place. So probably wouldn't even feel confident putting in that much time and effort to do all these things. And like, dude, who's even got 80 hours to do all this stuff? So you're like, yeah, you've decided, yeah, you're simply gonna be the first mover here and not wait because this is too good of an opportunity to pass up. So if that's you, shoot us a DM. Our hospital is currently closed for new patient intake, but when we do open the hospital back up again for new patient intake, shoot us a DM and we will see if you qualify to utilize our S-cubed methodology.